Today, we're looking for one of Florida's most ecologically important, yet generally overlooked species, the gopher tortoise.
Gopher tortoises are one of the most unique reptiles in Florida, but because they're not dangerous or particularly flashy, people tend to forget about them sometimes. We've dreamed of getting face to face with these ancient animals for many years, but every time we thought we had a shot at really getting a good look at one, they managed to escape. Now you may be thinking, man, these guys are losing their touch. How could a tortoise escape from a human? All I can say is, don't underestimate why they call these guys gophers. Gopher tortoises can excavate burrows that are 14.5 meters long and 3 meters deep. They are serious architects. Not only that, but they will build and maintain several burrows across their home territory, and they generally don't stray far from them. So even if you see a tortoise that seems to be exposed, they can slip down a hidden burrow in seconds. If we want to get a good look at a tortoise, we need to be smart. The first step is finding the right habitat and looking for some clues as to where they might be.
The habitat behind me is a beautiful expanse of sandhills and palmetto scrub. This is absolutely perfect habitat for the gopher tortoises that we're searching for. This habitat is made entirely of sand, which is really easy for the tortoises to burrow into. So as we explore through here, we need to be looking for tortoises feeding, but also sunning at the edge of their burrows. Gopher tortoises are creatures of habit, and they'll use the same paths to get from their burrows to feeding locations each morning. Now right beside us is a little path that's been carved by a gopher tortoise, so we're going to track along it and see if we can find one catching the first rays of morning sun.
We've been hiking for a while now, and we've seen a lot of empty burrows. This is really promising, but we need to keep moving. The sun is higher in the sky now, so some of the tortoises might be out feeding. If it gets too hot though, they'll retreat back underground and we won't see them again until the afternoon. There's one more spot we need to check, so let's head right over and see if we get lucky.
So we have come across a gopher tortoise out on the crawl. Now we want to follow him, but we're not going to be touching him because they are a state protected species. But this is so exciting, our first gopher tortoise out in the open. We found this tortoise in the middle of breakfast, and that makes sense because it's now mid-morning, and this is a diurnal species. So they will come out and feed on over 300 different types of plants out here in the sandhills. They are completely herbivorous, and this is such an amazing experience to share space with a beautiful animal like this. As Harrison mentioned when we found this guy, gopher tortoises are a state-protected species, so you'll notice that we're not handling this guy or even touching him. We're just tracking him through his environment on his time. Now, these guys are actually facing a major threat from habitat loss. With so much of the environment being cleared for human development, there's almost nowhere for these guys to live, and that's why they're actually considered endangered.
It's sad that this species is in such serious decline, but you may be wondering, why does it matter? The truth is, without gopher tortoises, this ecosystem could not exist. Let me show you what I mean. The sandhills are an ecosystem that rely on an unusual natural event to keep things in order: wildfires. These wildfires help turn over the vegetation growth and allow flowering plants and grasses to get nutrition from all of the organic materials the fires leave behind. While hiking a back section of this wilderness area, we actually came across a section of sandhills that had experienced a fire just hours before, and it really put things into perspective.
As you can see, the entire habitat behind me has been burned by a fire. And for species that live here, there's almost no way to escape the blaze without going up into a tree or seeking shelter underground in gopher tortoise burrows. Amazingly, there are over 350 species that have been documented to utilize these burrows during events like wildfires, and that's what makes the gopher tortoise a keystone species here in this ecosystem. They protect huge amounts of biodiversity that without the assistance of the gopher tortoise would perish. There is no better feeling than finally achieving our goal of finding a gopher tortoise. This was definitely one of our biggest targets for this trip. Absolutely, we've been dreaming of this episode for a long time, and it's amazing to have finally finished it. And if you want to see another video from the Sandhills ecosystem, check out this episode where we catch a southern black racer and teach you quite a bit about it. And with that, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.